Well, welcome to the She-Hulk pre-show, you guys, or as Rob has astutely named it, the pre-Hulk. Hope you're having a great day. We are so excited to be talking to you about She-Hulk, what to expect, what we hope to see, all that good stuff. We are going to have 3 different hosts rotating through today. Yay! Yeah. I'm Kris Carr. I'm kicking things off with you guys. And joining me is my wonderful, wonderful partner here, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Rob, how you doing?
You know, Kris, I'm always doing well when I'm on a show with you.
Aw, you little sweet.
Because we have issues.
We do have issues.
Well, I work them out with you.
I know, because you're a charmer.
In front of people.
Yeah. I appreciate that about you. Yeah. All right.
You asked what I hope for?
Yeah.
I want a Hulk nudity.
Hulk nudity?
Yeah.
On a sitcom?
Why not?
It'd be groundbreaking.
I hope. Why? I mean, isn't it new? Isn't this
true.
on cable? Isn't it streaming?
It's streaming, so there's no rules. It's the Wild West.
I mean, we already see that. I mean, she's already taking men to her boudoir.
Yeah.
We saw it in the trailers.
But typically in a sitcom kind of universe, sheets stay above your boobs and never leave.
Not on Dream On.
specially
Remember the old
ordered.
Dream On series on HBO?
No.
Oh, well.
When was
I'm
that?
old. Ancient times.
Okay.
Brian Benbed. You don't remember him?
I don't know any of these
Married to
things.
Madeline Stowe? No? Doesn't ring a bell?
No.
That was a sitcom.
Okay.
Okay. Well.
Oh, well.
And it
Let's
was
talk
on
about
cable.
She-Hulk.
I'm excited to see the show. I have to say, She-Hulk is a Stan Lee created character all the way back, I think, 1980. So She-Hulk is a 42-year-old character. So any criticisms being leveled at the character for being a recent answer to politics is just wrong.
Yeah.
And She-Hulk's been a member of the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, at least in the comics. I love this character. And then I've heard, having not seen the show yet, but read the comments that the John Byrne did a very funny run on with this character where she started even addressing him as the writer of the comic.
Yeah. Sensational She-Hulk, right?
Sensational
Yeah.
She-Hulk. And I love that run. And I was telling John this the other day, we were on the John Campea Show, that this comic run, there was after Justice League in the Justice League International comic that was a comedic Justice League comic that I hated. I hated that idea. And then when I read the first issue, I'm like, okay, this is hilarious. And I don't have to take myself so seriously. What a great show.
For sure. Good storytelling. Oh, okay. Hi. The super chats are still open? Are they? Or are they closed? Okay. Super chats are still going, so you can fire in your questions still. So make sure you do all of those. Thanks, John.
But anyway, Byrne took up the mantle of comedic comics, at least within the superhero space. And I thought he did a wonderful job in that particular brand of comedy in his She-Hulk was really funny.
It was great stuff.
And I hope that's where they've gone with this series.
Me too. Well, I want to ask you this because we talked about it a little bit on the show today while you were off and Aaron was in your place. Was a lot of people are talking about the meta nature of this, right?
Right.
The fourth wall breaking and everything, and how that feels like a played out trope, which is a little ironic since She-Hulk was the first comic book character to start doing that and addressing the audience. So how do you feel about, one, that critique, not having seen the show, of course, and two, do you think that it's something that's going to work, or is it a trope that's played out?
Well, I think any trope can be reinvented. You know, it really depends on how it's done. It depends on the quality of the writing. It depends on the characters trying to pull it off. And I think you can just tell that I think it can work on this show. I mean, a friend of mine told me, and I don't know if it's true, he worked on the show and said that there's even a scene that takes place at Marvel.
Ooh, okay.
That would be very much along the lines of what Byrne did with the original Sensational She-Hulk comic.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that. Why it would be look, if it's great and it's funny, why not? I mean, it works with Deadpool.
I know.
It's just R-rated.
I think the sitcom format is going to be a fresh new take on this too, because we haven't seen anything like this really. We saw kind of hints of it, with WandaVision. We saw them playing with different genres of television, but to have a true sitcom kind of pop up in here, I think it's going to be really, really fun, especially one that's supposed to be riddled with cameos.
Right.
It's supposed to have so many. Who are you expecting to see or hoping to see?
Well, they released the clip of the scene in the car, with Bruce and Jennifer, and whether is it the Grandmasters? Is it a ship from his planet? Is he in it?
I would love me some Jeff Goldblum.
I mean, maybe that's how the Hulk is removed from the show. Maybe, a little training, a little help, and then suddenly they take Hulk away. So there's no two Hulks on Earth. There's only one.
Oh, I like that idea because that has been the constant battle too, right? Of like when you have somebody as powerful as Hulk, How do you deal with it? I know it's something that, John, you've often, rallied against, the kind of neutering of Hulk and how he fits into everything now.
But my big hope that there's one character that I want more than any other character to cameo on this show. Howard the Duck.
I would love that so much. Do you still want it to be Seth Green?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, okay.
No, I want it to be, and that's what I was thinking. Howard the Duck could be in that ship.
Oh, I friggin' love that.
I mean, he's trapped in a world he never made. And if they make it more the Steve Gerber, Howard the Duck from the comics, it could fit right in.
That'd be really, really rad. I posed this on the show today. Certain characters you don't necessarily have to cast right now. You just have to show them, do a CGI situation.
Right.
Do you think, because I would really like this, do you think there's a possibility of Ben Grimm just kind of like walking through or having some moment?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I mean, I would not put that past anybody because there's nothing to be said. This is what I don't, the Fantastic Four could be here. We just haven't met them yet.
Yeah.
I mean, you just never know. I mean, because they're not maybe the Fantastic Four yet. They haven't announced themselves. They just went to space and this thing happened, but they're not the Fantastic Four.
The blip happened while they were in space.
Yeah.
Kind of stole their thunder.
Could be.
They were like, I came back all elasticy, and everyone was like, no one cares, Reed. No one cares.
Have you looked around lately?
Yeah.
We have celestials in the ocean.
Exactly. Things are bananas. We don't have time for you and your science. There are gods among us.
I mean, I think one of the funny things, I've always banged on the show about the cosmology of the Marvel Universe, like where are we at? I think this show is going to delve into that because they had to start a legal division to deal with all these superheroics and all. I mean, we've seen Michael Keaton. We've seen them scavenging pieces of the aftermath of alien incursions and things like that. So I would think that there's a lot going on that the legal system hadn't had ways to cope with yet. And we've seen that they're setting up this new division. So they could bring anybody they want through here.
That's very true. Do you think they're going to lean hard into the procedural part of it or just use that kind of as a gimmick to get a lot more people in the show?
I think they're going to do both. Kind of the way look, if you look at our great legal shows, like whether it was Boston Legal and the Practice or LA Law or Ally McBeal, it's going to be a frothy mix of all of those things.
Frothy mix?
I think so.
Wow.
Maybe a heady mix.
Ooh, very exciting.
But frothy, like a good beer.
Yeah.
Why? What do you think I meant?
I immediately went to cocktails that have egg whites in them.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Still drinking either way.
No, but I really do think that I would hope that from a comedic standpoint, they do lean into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like it isn't just a goof. And I've heard like somebody had said, I don't think it was yesterday. I don't think Christian Harloff said this. I think I was watching, maybe it was, someone had asked whether they lean in, that whether the Hulk is sort of neutered. He's not, apparently.
All right.
Like he's the Hulk that we want. He's not some emasculated version of the Hulk, which I think is great because, seeing the real Hulk back, that isn't, well, he's Professor Hulk, but he looks like he can fight. Like he's in fighting shape.
He's not dabbing in a diner and telling kids to listen to their mom.
No.
Which,
No, but I do hope we see where that rock lands.
Yeah.
That he throws, like if the Hulk throws a rock,
Where does it go?
Where does it go?
Where does it go?
Where does it land? On whose house does it land?
Oh, man. All right.
But what do you think? I mean, if you could have the perfect Hulk, She-Hulk show, what would be the kind of show you'd want? Like, you're the humorous one here. I'm the humorous one. You have the zippy one-liners. I mean, what kind of humor do you want to see in this show?
I mean, I really do want it to harken back to an Ally McBeal kind of show, which I think is what we're getting here. So I do want it to have some actual law situations that have a rhyme and reason for being there. I think that's interesting to delve into. I'm the daughter of a corporate lawyer too, so I just find that kind of stuff very, very interesting. But I really do hope that we also get some big real world ramifications of Jennifer entering the world in this new way. I hope that we see this have a greater part in the MCU because Phase 4, as we've talked about so much, has felt a little disjointed. And as Ms. Marvel came out, right, it was supposed to be, we're finally seeing more of the bigger picture. We're seeing things connect. I don't know if She-Hulk is the show to bring more pieces together or if it's more of a palate cleanser, but I'm hoping that we see some things that actually do have long-term ramifications within the MCU, because that's what I've been missing. Doctor Strange, I went into that film thinking like, this is going to be the one where we're connecting all these dots and now we're setting things up, and it felt like a standalone.
Totally.
Thor felt like a standalone. I know the television shows are different, but
I do want to see a particular case.
ooh,
I want to see somebody bring up or somebody the environmental impact of a battle like at the end of Endgame. When Thanos' troops are fighting the Avengers, like what did they leave behind? Uranium, uranium shells on the battlefield.
Ooh.
Like what is left? Do they have to do environmental cleanup, and who's liable for that? Is Stark Industries? Do they have to pay for the horrible environmental impact of a battle of that size?
so much. That's awesome. Well, now that we've speculated a little bit about some things, we are going to wrap up doing our super chats. We're going to close those. We're going to get to no, we're not. We're just going to tag out. I don't know what your hand signals mean yet. Bye.
Well, that was fun. Hello, John.
Hello, Rob. We got a whole bunch of swapping that's going to be going on today.
Oh no.
In the most purest of PG-13 ways. Okay, so I wanted to bring up one thing that I thought has been very, very interesting that we've heard so far, especially coming out of the first reactions.
Yeah.
Which is one of the critiques I often have of the MCU is that they do it right every once in a while, but sometimes we can get the law of diminishing returns a little bit fatigued with Save the Galaxy. It feels like every single thing, it's like, the world's at stake, the world's at stake, the universe is at stake. Like even in Miss Marvel, that was, and I adore Miss Marvel. I think that show is amazing. But even in Miss Marvel, like, while it's very family and blah, I think it was like episode 5. Oh no. These guys are trying to rip open a thing between universes. If they do, their universe is going to wipe out our universe. Like even in Miss Marvel, they did that. And one of the things that we've heard from a bunch of the first reactions coming out of She-Hulk is, I heard a lot of people say, there's no the universe is at stake thing going on here, which to me is important because, if you don't shift gears every once in a while, if you don't like when Ant-Man came along, right? Like they would have a movie about you got to save the world, then you get Ant-Man where he's got to save his family. Then you go into the larger stakes, then you go into the smaller stakes. And I like that they're doing that here. It's also going to be interesting to see what kind of legal stuff they do, because from what I understand, and this is true of like the type of comedy it's aspiring to be, there's not one big story in it. Like I think she herself is the story.
Sure.
And I think it's going to be very episodic. But anyway, Rob, hearing that come out, that at least in the first 4 episodes, no save the universe thing. Do you think that's the right way to go for She-Hulk? And when we get into the last 5 episodes, do you think they'll maintain that, or do you think they'll slip into she's got to save the galaxy?
No, I don't think. I think there'll probably be some kind of a threat, but I don't think it's going to be a world-destroying threat. It's not going to be apocalyptic. I don't think. Because the thing about this is like I've been saying, like, what are the ramifications? What happens to the everyman? What happens to the man on the street? Like, let's say you own a falafel stand and, the Chitauri comes streaming through into New York and the Hulk's fighting somebody and drops something on your falafel stand. And you don't have the insurance, alien incursion, superhero through a Chitauri through my stand. So who's going to pay for that? And then so you sue the Hulk. I need my money. I want to see stuff. I want to see stuff like that. You know what I mean?
That's a little bit of what they did in The Incredibles.
Right.
In the first Incredibles, right? Like the superheroes eventually had to go away because there were too many lawsuits.
Yeah, and I think that's something that they need to deal with. And also, if Earth becomes a target, which it is, we've now had alien invasions, Celestials emerge, Thanos snap. The ramifications of what can happen because of all this are wide-reaching. And what does the man on the street do? What kind of recourse does anybody have if you don't know a superhero or you don't have a friend like Tony Stark or now his foundation or whatever? How are you supposed to live in a world where at any one moment the sky can literally fall?
You need legal protection, Rob.
That's exactly right.
That's what you
Jennifer
need.
Walters is here to help you.
All right. So one of the other things that we've heard from all the reactions is cameos, which again is, if this was any other movie, I would be going, oh, come on, don't. But for a sitcom, perfect. Couple we already know for sure. Wong, obviously.
We've seen him.
I've actually, from what we're hearing, he's actually a significant character in the show.
Right.
Charlie Cox is Matt Murdock. is going to be in there. So we've seen that. Obviously, Bruce is going to be in there. So I want to throw some other names at you and get your over-under numbers on the chances of them being in there. All right? Okay. Going to start a little bit simple here. Go a little bit more ground level. Hawkeye making an appearance because, he might have some legal issues. Do you think, what are the percentage chance of Hawkeye showing up?
I'll go 40%, but I think that's a little high.
Okay, 40% for that. All right, let's push it a little bit more. A standard mainstay in the MCU. Let's say somebody like Doctor Strange, living in New York, all that kind of stuff. What are the chances that he pops up in this?
I would say probably pretty good if Wong's in there, and also they were doing reshoots of Multiverse of Madness while this was in production. They were concurrent productions.
Oh, right, yeah.
So why not? If they were shooting in Atlanta, hey, bro, can you come over for a day and just shoot a little cameo?
See, there's one I thought of that would be perfect, but the show makes it kind of impossible because she's in New Jersey, Ms. Marvel. But the end of the show, she teleports somewhere, so she can't be around for that.
Right, but she can't. But I think Stephen Strange might even be as a civilian, like not wearing and he comes to testify on someone's behalf.
Oh, that would be interesting.
I think I think they're going to do a lot with those kinds of things that people are going to, because why wouldn't they?
All right, here's another name. Somebody else, one of our viewers on the John Campea Show earlier today sent this in. Want to know your thoughts? Speaking about fourth wall breaking, Deadpool, Wade Wilson.
I think if he shows up, it's either going to be in the last episode or a post-credit sequence or bit.
Right.
But why wouldn't you?
See, here's my reaction to it is this. I think there's almost 0% chance. Almost. Because I don't know that Marvel will make the first appearance of a billion-dollar franchise character in Deadpool and make their first appearance as a cameo in a Disney Plus show. I just don't know that they would do that.
I would only say the only reason I would debate that is that look at the marketing they did for, I think Ryan Reynolds is like, what better way to market Deadpool than have Deadpool show up in a She-Hulk show? I mean, and do some banter.
But is this even going to be one of their higher rated shows? Do you think? Do you think it's going to get the audience? Because, Ms. Marvel, while I think the second best show that they've done, it was one of, if not the lowest overall rated shows. I don't know what kind of numbers it's probably going to pull in more numbers than Ms. Marvel, but I don't know. What do you think?
You know what? Again, I will never underestimate the power of a contemporary female audience.
Oh.
Look what it did for Captain Marvel, $1 billion movie. I think that anybody watching this, there's an interest here. The numbers for superheroes is not 50-50. It's not men and women equally. It skews a little bit more male. This show doesn't. And Miss Marvel was young. People looked at it as being,
that's true.
Whereas I got to tell you, I mean, Elizabeth, she's superheroed out. She's like, oh my God, I got to see that. And I'm like, okay, baby, it's a superhero show. And she's like, I got to see that show.
Yeah, I know. Anne's really excited for this one too.
That's all I need to know. That's my litmus test. If she's interested, then I got to watch.
Okay, let's keep running through the cameo possibilities here. Anybody from Wakanda. Now that they have a presence in the United States, they've established some ambassadors, stuff like that. Anybody from, whether it's a Shuri, whether it's a Nakia, yes.
I don't know who it's going to be, but somebody from Wakanda. Maybe there's something to do with international trade agreements that have been violated. See, that's the kind of thing that I want to see, that kind of stuff. I want to see that Wakanda has like trade agreements with some shipping company in New York City, and the shipping company screwed them. Is charging them more money or something, and they've taken out a lawsuit against this company, whatever. And the thing is, because I love the idea that someone from maybe the Dora Milaje has its own legal division now because they had to. Like, why not? Wouldn't there be great Wakandan lawyers in New York? Because there'd be corporate law, all the patents Wakanda would have to get with all their technology. We've been sharing technology. We have patents for them. What if somebody tried to rip them off and brought them to court? And you have
a bad idea to try to rip off Wakanda.
I would love to see a brand new character, a Wakandan, a badass Dora Milaje trained lawyer.
Or it doesn't have to be Dora Milaje. I mean, it's just Wakandan ambassador or something.
But I would just love they become good friends. You know, like Jennifer and her, they're like become girl buddies.
All right, let's keep the names going here. Going back to another one of the Disney Plus shows. Either or, Sam Wilson or Bucky Barnes.
For sure.
Yeah, really?
One of the two of them is absolutely. Why? Because Sam Wilson has dealt with trying to get bank loans and things like that.
There's some legal issues there.
And
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
somebody's suing him because you're violating the Captain America copyright. You have the United States government owns that.
Maybe.
I mean, stuff, because I like the idea that all of these would be real world concerns, but they're kind of comedic in the context of the MCU. And I could see Bucky Barnes, maybe somebody wants to sue him. The man's a killer. Why shouldn't he be behind bars?
Yep. Okay. Any of the Guardians of the Galaxy?
No.
Okay, they're going to go no on
No.
that one. What was the other one I was going to go with here? I don't think we're going to get Loki or anything like that in there as well. Oh yeah, that's the one I wanted to go with. Shang-Chi.
Ooh.
Because Wong's going to be there, and obviously Wong
Yeah.
and Shang-Chi now have a bit of a connection.
Well, you know, again, they've caused some destruction in San Francisco. Are they? Is maybe the whole thing about how a newly emergent superhero like Shang-Chi has not been on the world stage yet, so maybe he somehow gets embroiled in some legal shenanigans, and he has to be protected.
I mean, there was that big bus incident.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Shang-Chi, right?
And they blame him.
Yep.
You know, I got one though. I think is gonna.
Okay.
Mike Coulter as Luke Cage.
Ooh. You know what? That's anybody from that Netflix universe. So my first gut reaction is to say no, there's no chance of that because I don't think they're going to be bringing that in. But the kind of show that this is going to be, and we read that one comment from the writer the other day who said, this is more of a lighthearted environment here. We're going to be able to bring in some characters and give the lighter side of them. When you look at Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, we got a character that I do not believe Kevin Feige is ever going to do anything with, which is we got Black Bolt, right, of the Inhumans, which I don't think Kevin Feige is ever going to touch Inhumans.
Right.
But in that one environment, because it was Earth 8-3, whatever, they could do it, right? I wonder if a show like She-Hulk, even if they didn't have plans to do anything with, Luke Cage or anything like that, that's a show you could do some Easter egg kind of wink, wink cameos. And okay, so I'm not going to say 0. I'll say 5%. 5%, still very, very low, but it does open up that's a really good name. That's a really intriguing one.
Or what about Maria Hill?
Maria, you see, this is the great thing about the Maria Hill character, is that you can literally drop her in anywhere. And like, for instance, they've dropped her in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She popped up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We know, like, she was in Spider-Man, Far From Home. She's going to be in Secret Invasion. So this is a character you really can. You know what? I would say this is the one name I would say over 50%. I don't know if there's any other name I'd say over 50, but I think that's a really good one.
I don't remember his name. Titus Welliver's character.
I believe he
Did he die?
Did he not die?
Is he dead
I
in
think
Agents
he's
of
dead.
S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's dead if I remember that. I mean, I try to block out most of Agents
Yeah, I
of
don't
S.H.I.E.L.D.
remember.
I'm not a fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I just love Titus Welliver.
Oh, I mean, that dude's amazing. I mean, he was in Sons of Anarchy for heaven's
Yeah,
sake.
he's the best. And he collects hot toys.
That's right. I saw him on the same show. I saw there was a special with him, and I'm trying to remember who the other big name was. There was him, and there was somebody else that was like, they're big time hot toy collectors. So, and that's another reason why he's great. By the way, seeing him pop up in Mandalorian. How cool was that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's just the best.
All right. So here's what we're going to do now, guys. We want to know, what are your theories? Now, we're just going into the first episode. Obviously, for a pregame show for She-Hulk episode 2, we're going to be able to be a little bit more focused. But right now, just going in blind into this new show. What are your theories about a couple things? We want to know, who do you think are likely cameo scenarios? What kind of storylines do you think we could have going here? Obviously, we got Abomination in there, which is...
Right.
I've been waiting for Abomination to come back into the MCU, so that's great news for me. So we want to know your thoughts. So the super chats are open right now. Now, before we get to those...
There's one more I wanted to add.
Oh, what's that?
Betty Ross.
Oh, my God. And more importantly than Betty Ross,
It's who's going to play.
Liv Tyler Betty Ross.
Yeah.
There's never been a better time to do that than right now.
Yep.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I mean, you got two Hulks. Come on.
Oh, I guess even without Bruce there, because I don't know how much of the show Bruce will be in. He's definitely going to be in it more than for the first episode, but I don't know how long. So, I mean, obviously Jennifer and Betty would know each other.
Yeah, who would be best? But Jennifer to give her advice. Let me tell you about what it's like to live with a Hulk.
Oh my God!
Could you imagine them just dishing?
I'm not going to lie to you, dude. I kind of love this idea. In this universe, it would have to be Liv Tyler.
Yeah.
But again, they could be saying this is kind of the same as the Ed Norton. Maybe they changed it up. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, guys, we're going to take your live comments and questions. But before we get to those, we're just going to take a second here and thank the sponsor of this She-Hulk pregame show, our friends over at Athletic Greens. Hey guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Athletic Greens. Now, when you get really busy, and you guys know that Ann and I are really busy, one of the first things you sacrifice is eating healthy. And you know, I simply have never eaten enough vegetables in my diet, I admit it. So for a long time, I've been looking for a really good all-in-one supplement that helps me get those nutrients and vitamins that my body needs. And thank goodness I found Athletic Greens AG1. So what is Athletic Greens AG1? Well, with one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, and probiotics to help you start your day right. And for me and Ann, it's easy. We get up in the morning, we pour a big glass of water and add one scoop of AG1. So many people today are taking some kind of multivitamin, and it's important to choose one with high quality ingredients that your body will actually absorb. And it's cheaper than getting all those different supplements yourself. And on top of giving you all those vitamins and nutrients, it also supports better sleep and quality of recovery and supports mental clarity and alertness. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/mailbag. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/mailbag to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. And thank you to our friends at Athletic Greens for sponsoring this episode of the She-Hulk pregame show. All right, guys. With that down, we got Kris tagged in now.
Yeah.
And we are going to hear from you guys, your thoughts, opinions, theories, speculation, questions, whatever. Let's get over and hear what you guys have to say. So what do we got, Kris?
All right. Are we starting down here with Charles?
Did Charles?
Or
I think that's what we ended off with John
Dunn?
Campea Show.
Okay.
Yes.
From Mr. Hank Dunn, I want to see She-Hulk and Deadpool break the fourth wall at the same time. And, can we scroll up just a touch? I'm a shorty. And also, and be so confused with each other. Wade to Jen. Do you know we're fictional too?
I mean, on the one hand, again, we talked about this morning. I get it. In an all other things are equal, having Deadpool and She-Hulk as the two fourth wall breakers, that would make sense. I just have a really hard time believing that they're going to introduce their billion-dollar franchise character in a who knows how many people will be watching Disney Plus TV show. I don't know. What do you think?
I could see him wandering in and doing a little like, ah, and then her shoving him out of frame.
And it wouldn't even have to be Ryan in the costume. You know what? That's something they could do.
This is my show. I started this first, bitch. Get out of here.
And then she hulks him out of there. That would actually be pretty fun.
I think that'd be funny.
All right, what's next?
Now we got Oh, sorry.
There we go.
From Dr. J, I'm excited for the She-Hulk series and expecting a fast-paced and well-written and acted comedy with more than a healthy dose of Chucklefuck McGillicuddy in it. Oh, good old Chucklefuck.
Chucklefuck is taking the world by storm.
Oh, man.
I mean, okay, so the interesting thing, and Rob, you weren't here to hear this. Rob, are you a Rick and Morty guy?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, so are you familiar with the Pickle Rick?
Pickle Rick!
So I didn't know this, but while we were doing the John Campea Show today, I got a text from our buddy who pointed out to me that Jessica Gao, who is the showrunner of She-Hulk, she was actually the writer of the Pickle Rick episode of Rick and Morty. So I think that got a lot of Rick and Morty fans excited. I don't watch Rick and Morty, so I don't know.
It's such an absurd episode, which just makes me very happy about how absurdist this series will be.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. All right, what's next?
From Dr. J. From Sam Fisher. This week I'm home in New York, but next week I'll be in Reno, Lake Tahoe on vacation. No 3M premiere next week.
Oh yeah, that's right. But hey, I've been to Lake Tahoe once. They flew us out there for the press junket of Hot Tub Time Machine 2. And it was one of the best press junkets I'd ever been to. Like, it was at this resort lodge, and it was so much fun. Anyway, you're going to have a good time, but yeah, it's going to be tough for you to watch that. All right, what's next?
From Sam Fisher again. Honestly, my biggest hope for this series is that Liv Tyler's Betty Ross and the leader pop up, but I don't think it'll happen. At least not Liv Tyler.
Okay, so that's been coming up a lot as well. What about Oh Brother, Where Art Thou star?
George Clooney?
No. The guy who's the leader. What's the actor's name again? Why am I freezing on it? Is it Tim something? Tim Blake Nelson.
Yes.
Tim Blake Nelson as the leader, because where that movie leaves off, the gooey gunky gunk is dripping into his open brain head space. And we all know he's going to become the leader, but then they never went back to that. So, I mean, there's a if Abomination's back, they never said what happened to him. They don't have to either. But I do think we could see the leader.
I think so. I think a big thing with She-Hulk is going to be that kind of Deadpool, like, let's take rips at ourselves sensibility, where it's going to be things like, well, we left that big old plot hole open, or, ooh, we never saw you again, or like we have, just random characters from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. walk in again. They're like, no, we don't talk to you. Get out of here.
One of my favorite, I don't know why this just reminded me, one of my favorite wall break lines ever was in the first Deadpool. We say, we're taking to see the professor, and he says, which one, Stewart or McAvoy? And I'm like, oh God, that's so funny. Okay, anyway, sorry, what's next?
Gotta scroll a little bit. From Quality Not Included. What would you like Hulk's fate to be at the show's end?
I mean, let's be clear. This isn't Hulk's show. So, like, whatever it is, the major story point isn't going to revolve around him. It's She-Hulk's show. It's going to revolve around her. Obviously, I would love to see him revert back to real Hulk. And then, even if it means he has the easy power to transform back and forth between Bruce and Hulk, that's what I would like to see. I'm not anticipating that. I don't know. Do you see anything different happening?
I mean, I feel like they will get him off world just so we don't have a Hulk problem or a double Hulk situation. But ultimately, in Bruce's story, whenever that actually manifests and maybe he gets his own vehicle, I want him to be happy and find love, but he never will.
Unless Liv Tyler comes back.
Yeah.
Then maybe. So
then.
Here's the thing. So we do see the ship. You and Rob were talking about this. We do see the ship, Grandmaster's, or what at least it looks like Grandmaster ship shows up. But remember, that can't be them taking him away, because the car accident that causes is what turns Jennifer into She-Hulk.
Yeah, that's when the blood gets
And then we've seen him with her after that. So that can't be where he leaves. So maybe it does end with him being off-world at some point, and then comes back for World War Hulk. That's not going to happen, but it would be great. Oh my God, it would be so good. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher. Was William Hurt set to be in this?
That's a very good question.
I'm not sure.
It would have made sense because Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. I wouldn't be shocked if we see him appear in this, because I think they filmed this before he passed
a while
away.
Ago.
So, you know what? I would give it a 40% chance he shows up in this.
What do you think, too? Because I've seen people post this in the chat of Hammer coming in and taking that kind of Thunderbolt place.
That's definitely a possibility too. But again, I don't know that they're going to go any big major storyline like that in the show at all. I think she's going to be the story, and I think it's going to be just very episodic. But you never know. Something they could do in the future.
I could just see him being fraught with lawsuits.
Yep.
So.
All right. What's next?
From Hero75, I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of links to the wider MCU, Daredevil, Wong, and hopefully others. I think that's been missing lately. No one's addressed events from Eternals or Moon Knight.
See, I don't mind. Actually, I kind of find refreshing the idea that we get to have these movies and they don't have to have 50 other MCU characters in it. I find that refreshing. I kind of like that. Just cameos do not create connections. But yes, we live in a world, if you live in the MCU, you live in a world where giant Egyptian gods were fighting over a city. You live in a world where a being the size of the ocean has come up out of the crust of the earth and is now just there. And where you had a celestial appear in the sky, Arashem appeared and said, I'm going to come back to judge. And nobody's mentioned it.
Everyone's just been like,
It's Tuesday, right? Nobody's even mentioned. It would be nice to hear, even if it is in a show like She-Hulk, that somebody finally acknowledges that stuff is there. Or just stop pretending it's a shared cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. What's next?
From Hoser Mize, are we going to see the return of the leader?
We were just talking
Yeah.
about that. I'm gonna guess not. But if you ever were, this is the time to do it, isn't
I think so. I feel like of all the characters we saw in the Ed Norton film, I feel like that's the one to bring back, even above Betty possibly, or Betsy, excuse me.
Ooh, I don't know about that. It's close.
Live's a hard get.
Yeah, it's true. All right, what's next?
From A-Rod 2006, rewatched The Incredible Hulk last night.
Nice.
I can't believe that Jen would actually defend Blonsky in court after he tried to murder Bruce many times.
Well, don't forget, in one of the promo pieces, she literally walks into her boss's office and says, I have a conflict of interest. This client tried to murder my cousin. So that is clearly a piece of the puzzle here. That's clearly a piece of it. So I don't know if that is what becomes the spark that brings Wong into it, because obviously Wong has been working with Abomination, right? So I think they already covered those bases with that. I don't know. What do you think?
I feel like it's going to just be something that adds conflict in there, and she will ultimately represent him, because we see this in legal dramas all the time of, I can't represent them, they're my own child, or like stuff like that. We see that trope throughout legal shows. So I think they're just using that in here to spice up the narrative.
All right. What's next?
From Sam Fisher, the biggest selling point for me on She-Hulk is Tatiana Maslany. She was brilliant in Orphan Black. Have you ever seen Orphan Black? Did you like it?
Yeah, I mean, again, good Canadian girl.
Yeah.
Tatiana. I mean, that's what got everybody excited. Like, She-Hulk got announced, and the hardcore comic book fans were like, ooh. But the world didn't really pay attention. Once Tatiana Maslany got attached to it, all of a sudden, like, non-entertainment news trades started picking up that story. And then a lot of people started getting, again, she is an award-winning actress. She's incredibly versatile. She can do so much.
Yeah.
And she's Canadian. So, and the Canadians are just like her, Simu Liu and Shang-Chi. I keep forgetting Ms. Marvel's name. Iman Vellani and Ms. Marvel, Ryan Reynolds coming in as Deadpool. The Canadians are just taking over the MCU.
They're doing a great job.
Yes, they are.
Oh, man.
All right, what's next?
From A-Rod 2006, I have a lot of my own theories, but why do you think Murdoch ventures out of New York for the first time ever? Didn't in his show, Defenders or No Way Home?
Didn't in his Warner.
He didn't leave New York.
That's the easiest thing in the world. It could simply be one of my clients was traveling out here and got in trouble, or I have a third cousin who lives here.
They could bring in the Mike Murdoch character.
I'm not familiar with the Mike Murdoch character.
In the comics, he is so paranoid about somebody finding out that he's Daredevil that he creates a fake twin brother.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and I don't think they'd do that. But if they
In
ever
a
were,
She-Hulk
this
show,
show
they
would
could
be
do
it.
that.
Yeah, because it's so ridiculous.
But again, there's nothing. That is to explain why he's in LA. You can come up with, like, seriously, in the next 3 minutes, we can come up with 50 reasons. So that won't be the harder part of the thing there.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
From Josh Becker, I hope this is funny, but not cringe funny like Thor.
I mean, look, I don't care what anybody says. A lot of Thor was fucking hilarious. Like a lot of Thor. I mean, yes, like even I said it went over the silly line too many times, but a lot of I laughed my ass off a lot in Thor. The difference is, and Rob made a really good point about this the other day, is that you go into Thor expecting one sort of thing. This is a sitcom. This is meant to be a sitcom. And therefore, I think quite oftentimes when you come to comedy, the container in which the jokes happen is really important. This all happening in the context of a sitcom, I think is going to work. Now, I have heard some of the humor gets a little bit silly, but I never heard one person complain about that humor going too far too often.
Yeah.
So, because we did hear that out of the reactions of Thor, but we didn't hear that coming out of She-Hulk.
Yeah,
so
everything I've heard about this is that everything feels earned.
Yeah.
Some of it maybe feels like it's a played out concept, but that the actors do a really great job of taking it and making it really, really work. So,
All right, what's next?
From Ismail Montoya. Hey guys, I know the show is about She-Hulk, but what would you like to see about Hulk, John? I know you've been disappointed with him lately.
But you just nailed this, Ismail. This is not Hulk show.
Yeah.
This is not going to be Hulk centric. It's not going to be about what's going on with him. It's going to be all her. And even when he is in it, it's going to be to service the main character of the show. And I'm good with that. I'm completely good with that. Would I like to see a Hulk show? Yes, and all that kind of stuff. But really, I'm not formulating any expectations when it comes to actually Bruce, because Bruce is not the center point of this show. He is an auxiliary character that is there to service the main character. And so, yeah, I wouldn't get my hopes up about anything particular.
And when they do their Hulk show, they're going to call you so your character can come back as a series regular.
Well, I can't break...
There's NDAs. We don't want you to get Marvel darted.
Can't talk about that. All right.
From Chase. Oh, sending in a $50 super chat.
Thank you, Chase.
Hi, John. When your show ended today, I took my phone out of my pocket. My phone was open. I accidentally reported your channel. I don't know what I reported you for. I feel really bad. Hope it doesn't harm your channel. Please don't ban me.
For YouTube to do anything about stuff like that, there would have to have been a flood of them. So I wouldn't worry about that at all. Don't worry about it. But thank you so much.
It's really sweet, though, to be that concerned.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
I mean, I feel like every day it's in danger of being demonetized because I open my mouth.
And start singing.
Yeah.
That's a content strike.
Right.
All right, what's next?
Irene Jobson, love and support.
Oh, thank you, Irene. Appreciate that.
From Tim Platt, never saw Ally McBeal, but as a massive fan of sitcoms, I am stoked for this. I just want to know who was in that ship that made them crash.
I mean, you guys... I hate it, but you guys did bring up Howard the Duck earlier. That's not the nuttiest theory. It is not the craziest thing to think Howard. I mean, Howard the Duck shows up in Endgame.
Yeah.
So I mean, it would not be the nuttiest thing in the world that he shows up in there, that he lifted one of Grandmaster's ships and accidentally caused a car crash. Again, I'm not saying it's Howard the Duck. I'm not. I'm saying it's not the wildest theory. So
It'd be amazing. I'd be so here for it.
All right, what's next?
From Ahmed, I'm so excited for this. Us too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, me too. All right, what's next?
From James Wheeler, I'm excited for this show because Orphan Black is one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, now remember, this will not be Orphan Black.
No.
But, I mean, whenever you're going to have any project, if you can introduce into that project a world-class award-winning talent like her, she's going to take whatever. Remember, she's not writing the script. She's not doing any of that, but she's going to be able to take what's ever there. She's going to elevate the material. So that is something to truly be excited about. All right, what's next?
From Free Metroid Hat, could Hulk's son show up to bring back Raging Hulk?
No. Again, guys, anybody who's thinking about this thing in terms of it being Hulk-centric, it's not going to be Hulk-centric. So
when did Bruce get busy?
I mean,
when did that happen?
I mean, it could have happened while he was on Game Master's planet.
Oh, dip. Okay.
I mean, so
that's true.
There's ways to do that, but again, don't expect anything that's really Bruce-centric in this show. All right, what's next?
Also, Free Metroid just gave support as well. So
thank you, Free Metroid. Appreciate that, man.
From the CTB channel, Jamil was great in The Good Place.
Yes, she was.
I can't wait to see what she does with Tatiana. She definitely has the personality for that character.
She does. Listen, all I've seen, though, is the costume, and I am not a fan of the costume. I thought that looked horrible. And I get it. Somebody held up the comic book page and John, I don't care. Mm-hmm. Like, the Wolverine costume in the comics would look utterly stupid in real life action. So I don't like the costume. I'm hoping the costume would go beyond
They
it.
adjusted the wig and everything, which I appreciate. I think the point though is that it is supposed to be a little gauche.
Yeah.
That's what it feels
You're
like.
You're probably right about that. All right, what's next?
From Empire Fan 1980, I love to see She-Hulk and Deadpool meet. She breaks the fourth wall and Deadpool says, hey, that's my thing.
Again, like I said, if it wasn't for the fact that we're talking about introducing a billion-dollar franchise character into a Disney Plus show, I just don't see it happening. But other than that one argument, everything else would make sense for Deadpool to show up here. I'll be super excited if they do. I just don't see it happening. Yeah. All right, what's next?
From Hayden Wilson, what if we don't see where the rock lands until the post-credit scene of the finale?
Oh my God.
And maybe set something up, and that's where they form Genosha.
So, and that's when they formed Genosha. I remember the first few trailers that came out. They show They show Hulk just kind of tossing a rock. Mm-hmm. Then she picks up a rock and hurls it like twice as far as he did. And I was thinking, I sure hope they're not jobbing Hulk here. Don't job Hulk. But then when one of the latter clips came out, it showed what happened after that. Hulk's like, oh, we're trying to throw it far. And he picks up another rock and throws it so it disappears over the horizon. I think it would be hilarious if there's some guy floating in a boat just fishing and then some rock comes in. I think that'd be kind of funny. All right, what's next?
From Free Metroid Hat, do you think the name Nelson and Murdoch will be said in She-Hulk?
No.
Really?
No. Now, ooh,
But it's a law firm and it's a law show. And
I know something, and I don't know if I can say. I plead the fifth.
Ooh,
I have to stay quiet.
Okay.
Listen, there's very, 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 very little I know about the She-Hulk show. There's very little I factually know about the She-Hulk show. There are one or two little details that I do know about. And I shouldn't say, I can't answer that question because it is influenced by something I have direct knowledge of. So, well, you know what? On tomorrow's show, the after show, when we do the She-Hulk after show, I'm sure then I'll be able to say, because I think we're going to see what it is I know in tonight's show. But anyway, we'll leave that till then.
Okay, perfect. From V, hi all. I hope it H comes out of the savage She-Hulk to balance the comedy. What do you think? I hope it's H.
I hope it H. I don't know what it is we're
I'm
talking
not sure
about.
what you mean, V,
Let
sorry.
me hold a second. I hope comes Savage She-Hulk. I don't know. Sorry, V.
Are they trying to do a savage storyline? As opposed to
They're
sensational
clearly
speech
not.
She-Hulk, they want to do a savage She-Hulk story so that it's not just all pure comedy?
I hope it H's comes of the Savage She-Hulk. Anyway, look, I don't know what it is you're asking, V, but as far as to balance the comedy, why would you want to balance the comedy in a comedy? Like, that's the thing. This isn't like a traditional Marvel property where you have the dramatic, you have the action, you have the comedy, you're balancing it all. This is specifically, on its face value, this is a comedy. So to me, there is no place for balancing out the comedy. This should be a comedy. They should go straight for the comedy. You can work in good story elements as well, but never take your foot off the gas on the comedy, I think. That's what comedies, at the end of the day, comedies are judged by their comedy. And this show is ultimately going to be judged by, does it make us laugh and does it make us laugh a lot? And that's ultimately how the show's going to be judged. So I don't think there's a need to balance the comedy.
No, and really good comedies, right? Like Parks and Rec or The Good Place, they have moments of heartfelt connection and things like that, but it doesn't detract from the comedy. The comedy's always king.
It actually feeds the comedy.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because then when you care about people, those jokes land so much better.
I agree. All right, what's next?
From Irene Jobson, Groot as a cameo.
Ooh, okay, so were Groot to cameo, it would have to be with another Guardian, whether that would be Rocket or whether that would be, Peter or whether whoever. And I happen to agree with Rob when I asked Rob, like, any Guardians of the Galaxy cameo, and Rob said 0, and I actually kind of agree with him. I kind of do. All right, what's next?
From James Argenta, the leader thread from the Hulk could come up. Yep. We've talked about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, that was a dangling thread from that movie that they've never even addressed. So if they're going to Abomination, that could be it too. All right, what's next?
From Noah Kasser, what about Darcy Lewis and Jimmy Woo? I'd love that.
Listen, and I'm not kidding. It's not like playing around. I really think Marvel needs to make their show.
Yeah, the X-Files type of show with
The
them.
X-Files MCU show. I think you absolutely have great chemistry. The individual characters are wonderful. The chemistry between the two of them was great. I really think you need to make that show. And hell, if you got to bring them into a She-Hulk to kind of test it out, go for it. But you know what? Why not? I mean, these are performers who can just pop into these things.
Exactly.
So why not?
Jimmy Woo can do some sleight of hand.
Yeah,
Great.
he is in law enforcement, so why not?
Might be testifying about something.
She could be an expert science witness in a different case.
Totally.
There you go.
I love it. From Daryl Best Wadley, I wish they were dropping 2 episodes instead of 1. We were talking about this.
I agree. Listen, with the streaming shows, you have the opportunity, because like with new shows, it takes you a couple of episodes to really get a feel for what the show is. We were talking about that with Lord of the Rings earlier today, that they are dropping it with the first 2 episodes. And that's great, because that gives us as an audience a real opportunity to really get a sense for what is this show going to be. And especially with a half-hour show like She-Hulk, I think it would have been really beneficial. Drop with the first two, really get people into it. They've done it before. I was actually kind of surprised to find out they were doing it with this one.
Yeah.
Because what was it? Rob, did Moon Knight drop with 2 episodes?
Yes.
That's right.
I believe
It did?
Moon Knight did drop 2 episodes.
So Moon Knight dropped with 2 episodes, which meant after it, there was only 4 episodes left. With She-Hulk with 9 episodes, you could drop it with 2 episodes and still have 7 weeks left.
Yeah.
So I agree. I wish they were, I mean, they're not, and that's fine, totally fine. But I think it would have been better to drop this one with 2 episodes.
What if this first episode ends and She-Hulk addresses the camera and says, you know what? I think you should watch another episode. And then there's 2.
Okay, well, that would be
They're
pretty
saying
damn
in
cool.
the chat it was 1, so maybe we're
I thought it was
Moon Knight,
just 1.
There was, maybe it was Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan dropped 2.
Okay, that's what I remember. One of the Disney Plus shows launched with 2. That was a 6-episode season, and there was only 4 weeks. That was Obi-Wan
Yeah.
that I was thinking of, not Moon Knight. Right, exactly. Okay, what's next?
From Green Sunrise, chances of a Kevin Feige cameo if they go to the Marvel offices.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
If they're in that office.
Yeah, I don't think Kevin likes being on camera, but for this, if you can't go to Marvel's offices and not have Kevin Feige.
What if this is where they put the Deadpool cameo and it's just you see a baseball hat with their back turned
And it
and then
turns
he
around?
loops around and it's just like,
You just wrote the show. Or broke it.
call me
One of
Marvel.
the two. I think that works really well. All right, what's next?
From Tim Platt, do you think we get our Thunderbolt Ross at some point in this show? Our new Thunderbolt Ross, excuse me.
No, new Thunderbolt Ross, no, because this show, I believe they had finished principal photography by the time that he had passed away. So I'm gonna go no. I think there's a chance we see him in it. I think there is a chance, but I don't think they've replaced him at this point. All right, what's next?
From RZ Jones 18, The Thing or Ant-Man? Yes.
Ant-Man is I think a very valid, especially when you consider it's a comedy, all that kind of stuff, that fits. And I like your idea that you just don't even have to see the head, just see a clear
You just see that orange-
rock skin guy with some tidy Speedo thing walking by camera. You don't even see his head, just from here down. I think there's pants, but Ant-Man.
West Coast.
And Ant-Man is West Coast.
very
Although,
true.
it's a shrinking world. They can, no pun intended. It's a shrinking world. It doesn't matter where it is. It could be anywhere. All right, listen, we're going to keep the questions going here, but I'm going to tag Rob back in here so Rob can start answering some of these questions. I'll let you go for it. Well, in the meantime, go ahead and read the next one.
For sure. All right, from Ron Yu. Do you think She-Hulk will show who took over Stark Tower? Well, that's up on the East Coast, so I'm not sure
Yeah, I mean,
if that's
if
going to be something.
if this is a West Coast show,
Yeah.
maybe we'll get in a great rap battle at some point.
Oh, man, that'll be great.
You know?
And
I
Katy
mean-
Perry will be like, my song's just as good as yours, Alicia Keys, and we'll all be like, no,
Oh, wow.
no.
Do you think there'll be any music industry insiders in this show?
I don't know, because it's a sitcom, and that's such a big sitcom trope, is to have a musical
But
cameo.
what if
of
somebody
sorts.
what if some superhero wants a theme song and somebody wrote it for him and then
We continue to bring in the X-Men further, and Dazzler is spotlighted.
Oh.
Because we saw her a tiny
a little
bit,
but you know what if Dazzler, her music industry cred is being challenged.
Oh man,
She's trying to get out like a Taylor Swift, she's re-recording her albums or
Yeah.
something.
Ooh,
You know what? There's a cameo I think we could
I'd
see.
love that. I would love that so much. What's next? From Red Arrow 1316, I think that Sam Stearns, the leader, is behind all the new soups running around, and he could be the big villain as a payoff for Incredible Hulk.
Could be. I mean, that's not a bad idea. But again, I don't know. I don't think this show's going to have that many deep cuts except in the cameo area because they've got to introduce a whole new milieu.
Yeah.
And so I think we're going to get, because She-Hulk needs her own supporting cast as well, not just old characters from former MCU or comic.
With the film not being part of that Avengers Assembled thing too, I don't see us doing like a big through line with the leader.
No.
I think it's more of a throwaway line or a cameo.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think you're correct.
Oh, thanks. What's next? From Dr. J, be great to see Betty Ross back. Give a nice ending to Hulk Betty story.
I agree. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, it'd be nice, but it's not their story.
Or Betsy Ross doing a new flag.
Oh.
But that's just different.
All right. From Texas Reaper 92. Over under 15%, we get an end credit scene with a hint of Hulk going to Sakaar, eventually setting up World War Hulk.
I could see that. If they're going to remove Hulk from the proceedings, I think we could get some of that.
That'd be really cool.
Because apparently there are end credit clips in every episode. Isn't that what we've heard so far? At least,
At least for the first 4 episodes.
For the first
Oh,
four,
awesome.
yeah.
Okay. That'll be very fun. So anything's possible, really. That'd be really cool, though. All right. From Ronnie IG, what is fourth wall? Oh, do you want to take this, Rob, or do you want me to?
Go ahead.
So fourth wall is just if Rob and I are engaged in a scene, right? And we're really connected and we're talking about this, and then I address the camera head on. I'm breaking the fourth wall. I'm talking to the audience directly. Most of the time when you're doing a show, a play, a television show, what have you, you're connected right with your scene partner. That fourth wall is you, the audience, and that's when you come into
Yes,
play.
the fourth wall is the wall that you're actually watching through.
Yeah, it's our screen.
It doesn't exist for us. And if it does exist for us, then we have broken it.
Exactly.
And we've broken the reality, the verisimilitude.
Sensational She-Hulk does this really well in that you see her literally ripping through the pages to come address the author or to address the audience. There we go.
Well done.
From Free from the Cocoon, good for you. What if Matt Murdock refers Happy Hogan to Jennifer for patent representation? Thanks and bring on the filthy.
I could absolutely see some stuff like that happening.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea, it might not seem sexy, but the idea that, like, I do think Wakanda would have a lot of patents.
Yeah.
And if somebody's trying to rip off their technology or something, this is you would never make a movie about this, but you could do a sitcom, a legal sitcom about it.
I think that's where a lot of the comedy comes into play too, is taking something so mundane and putting supers around it is hysterical.
It's hysterical.
I love that.
And they've tried to do that on other shows and other
Yes.
things, but it doesn't. I think with this, it will work.
Yeah, I loved that DC vehicle with Alan Tudyk where they tried to do it. Was it Powers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was so fun, where he was just Bruce Wayne's cousin. Oh, it was such a great show. All
Didn't
right.
last long.
I know. From Travis Rose, what's up with all the new stuff of hating on Marvel and calling them woke? Why has that gotten so popular now? I mean, John did a whole rant on this the other day.
He did.
I don't think it's popular. I think it's loud, if that makes sense.
Also, I think also you have to take it where it's. I mean, look, pandering to the audience is definitely a real thing, but this is a long established MCU character, or comic universe character.
Yeah.
This is not something they just decided to do now.
For sure.
I mean, I think that this is a great way to introduce this character. And also the Marvel comic universe has some of the great female characters in all of popular fiction.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of them.
Yeah, well, and you so astutely brought this up at the top of this of Jennifer's been around since 1980.
Yeah.
And has had this characterization since 1980.
Yes.
So it's not the MCU. It's not, oh, we're going to talk about, feminism in this new way and be anti-men. No. As we talked about on the morning show earlier today, it's not about like being anti-men or any of these things like that some people have said is why this is woke. It's anti-asshole.
Well, yeah, which is a common theme for any female-led show.
Yeah.
Ever since the dawn of time. You know what they did to Joan of Arc? Come on.
Woof.
I know.
Yeah, I think that's why that happens, though. So, Matthew Lawrence, what do you think the show will be? What do you think? Do you think the show will be the end of Hulk? No.
No, just like it's not the end of Hulk in the comics.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to be an addendum or an addition or a plus of the Hulk universe. The Hulk
Yes,
family.
anding the Hulk universe.
Yes, anding. That's
Yeah.
right from improv.
Exactly.
Yes.
From D Train, I hope the first 3 minutes of She-Hulk isn't just opening credits, or else I'm tapping out.
Well, it depends how funny the credits are. The credits could be really
They
funny.
could be great.
I mean, look,
Could
if
be
you
great.
watch Die Hard, the credits in Die Hard take 10 minutes, but you're watching this plot the whole time.
It's very true.
So you never know. It's how they're done.
From Joshua Cohen, are you nervous that the show will turn Daredevil into a goofball?
No. But the thing is, Daredevil can have, if you like play against his brooding persona, it can be very funny and not diminish the character.
Exactly.
You can still make fun of a character and not diminish them.
I think so too. I said this before. We are not concerned about him becoming Chucklefuck McGillicuddy. He's not just going to be yucking. I don't think. I haven't seen the show, but I'm very, very doubtful they would do that with a character that they've also said we're getting, 18 episodes of?
Yeah.
And Echo.
And Echo, yeah.
Out to
So
the coast, have a few laughs. That's what he's done.
it's going to be that. From Free Metroid Hat. Wasn't the ship they crashed into the one Thor took from the Grandmaster?
I could be.
Maybe.
Who's flying it?
Yeah. We all don't know, but we will soon.
Tomorrow night or tonight?
Tonight.
Hours from now.
From V. What about Thundra being in the show?
Again, could be
Could.
fun. You know how that's going to work. I don't know. You know, we don't. Could be.
Yeah.
I mean, I think any character who's ever been
In
associated
Marvel.
with She-Hulk can show up in this.
This is very true.
Could be.
Anybody.
Who knows?
From Daryl Best Wadley. Over under 30%, we see an old Steve Rogers in this show.
I'd like that if they could work it in, but I don't think that would be, you know, as John was talking about, I could see Deadpool being introduced, like especially in costume, not necessarily Ryan Reynolds. I think if they brought back old Steve Rogers, it needs to have more gravitas.
Yeah, I think it's under. I don't see this happening.
No.
Because we want to see Cap in a very respectful way.
Yes.
Right?
We don't want to be making fun of old Cap.
Exactly. From J Jav Dev, I love 2003 Hulk. The editing is horrible, but the story action is so underrated, and it's the only Hulk movie that perfectly portrays Hulk's powers.
I have a soft spot in my heart for that film. I mean, look, before the MCU, Ang Lee was trying to do something new and different and interesting. And the action scene in the desert when Hulk is throwing tanks is badass.
That is pretty cool. I'll give you that.
It's
I'll give you that,
badass.
Ang Lee.
I mean, the Hulk dogs and the whole problem with
Yeah.
Nick Nolte thing, you know, maybe not so
Not
cool.
so great.
But I like it. Don't love it.
From Ahmed, I hope they set up a solo Hulk movie from this show. Same.
Me too. I think we all would love to see a
Yeah.
Hulk movie. I mean,
happen.
I know.
Get those
Maybe-
rights.
But I would like to see it.
From Palogia, wouldn't it make sense for Jessica Jones to take the stand as a hired PI? Wouldn't it?
I would love to see Jessica Jones come back.
I love her so much.
Oh, so do I.
That Logan and I were Jessica and Matt for Halloween.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was great, and I just got to walk around with a bottle of whiskey all night.
Wow. And
It was barely a costume. Yeah. From Uladan, hope She-Hulk dips into Murder, She Wrote territory.
I mean, that could be too. Why not? I think any of those kinds of things are. Look, the entire televised history of murder mysteries or legal, it's all going to be at play in the show. All
think
of
so.
it.
Absolutely.
All of it. Just like in WandaVision.
Yeah.
So
From Casey Mack, I hope the show gives us a leader tease, maybe setting up a future with that character.
could be.
Yeah. Again, I see a tease, not a
Right.
full through line.
And it'll be a wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
Thing.
From Dr. J, I love Hulk's rock to land on Phil Coulson's beloved flying car as he's walking up to it.
Oh,
Man,
I would be deeply saddened by that.
that's pretty great, though.
It is pretty great.
Oh, Dr. J, you ruthless, but I love it. A fan of peanuts. There we go. The goats make everything more funny. # bring on the goats.
Oh, do they though?
They do. I don't care. The goats in Hulk or Thor are awesome. They were awesome every single time.
I would love the goats to go to court.
Well, that I would love. Yes,
Ridiculous.
that I would pay to see.
That'd be super, super fun.
All right, well, let me slip back in for a second here because we have reached the end. We've reached it. That's it. That's the end of our first She-Hulk pregame show. Just talking about speculating, guessing what we got coming up. Obviously, next week's pregame show, we're going to be able to be a lot more focused because then we're going to have a sense of what's going on in the show. But guys, that'll do it. Thank you so much for being here and joining us in our little tailgate here as we pregame up She-Hulk that comes out in 8 hours.
Woo.
8 hours from now, we will all be sitting down and watching this show. I'm very, very excited about it. Now, guys, don't forget, tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to be back in our post-game show. We're going to be back to talk about the episode that we're going to see tonight with our She-Hulk after show. So we hope you guys will come back and join us for that. Also, don't forget, guys, come on back and join us for the John Campea Show tomorrow. Got a whole lineup of stuff we're going to be talking about. So for, you can't see him back there right now, Robert Meyer Burnett. our wonderful, Jessica Jones whiskey bottle carrying Kris Carr, and producer Jonathan Voico, who's been running the show. My name is John Campea. Thanks for being here, guys. Next time we talk, we will have seen She-Hulk. Very excited about it. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.